So last year, I accidentally took the whole year off from social media. I say accidentally because I didn't plan it. It just sort of happened naturally. I didn't make some dramatic exit post or challenge myself to hit some digital detox milestone. I just started checking in less and less. And then one day, I realized I feel so much better. I didn't even know how much time and mental energy I'd been wasting. Well, I definitely had my suspicions. I just didn't want to admit it. But suddenly I was doing things that I thought I didn't have time for. I was more tuned in to my spirituality, to my relationship. I was more present. And honestly, I didn't miss it. But then I started wondering, why did I feel so much better without social media? Was it just because of the extra time, or was there something else happening? And that's when I discovered a term that would explain everything. Brain rot. I'll be honest, I didn't even know brain rot was an actual term until Oxford announced it as the word of the year in 2024. I mean, I vaguely remember when I was a kid, my dad telling me that too much TV and video games would rot my brain, but I thought that was just him. Brain rot is the idea that over-consuming trivial and unchallenging media weakens our brains, shortens our attention spans, and causes us to think less critically. And frankly, less often. Brain rot can also be used to describe the type of content that will lead to this degradation of our intellectual faculties. So think stupid memes or hyper-edited shorts. And while there's plenty of anecdotal evidence that something is happening to our brains from all of this scrolling, there's actually some science behind it as well. One study found that excessive screen time has been associated with thinning of the cerebral cortex. That's the brain's outer layer responsible for critical cognitive functions such as decision-making and problem-solving. So maybe from taking some time off from social media, I was able to cure some developing brain rot. Over time, I was able to decondition my mind from the instant gratification of swipes and the dopamine hits of likes and comments. And the more I stayed away from it, the more I regulated my mind and my body, and I just didn't need it anymore. So is that the answer? Should we all just go back to flip phones with no web browsers? That is a path. But what I realized is the problem isn't just social media. Sure, it's designed like a slot machine that plays with our brain's reward system, and we shouldn't take that lightly. But the biggest issue is that most of the time we're using social media without intention. We're letting algorithms, not values, determine what we see and where our attention goes, and that's a recipe for brain rot. So looking back at my year off, I realized that there were a few simple shifts that I made that made the biggest difference. You don't have to quit social media cold turkey to avoid brain rot. But if you want to take your mind back and protect your attention, these are a few things that helped me. Number 1, no more notifications. I think what really kicked off my social media break was that I turned notifications off. Notifications are the bait at the end of the social media hook. Oh, somebody commented on my post. 40 minutes later, you're just mindlessly scrolling. We've basically been trained like Pavlov's dogs. That little ping, it triggers a reflex. Phone in hand, app open. And the scary part is, we don't even notice it. Turning notifications off allows you to approach any app on your terms. You open the app when you choose to, not when you're prompted to. And that allows you to take your power back. You'll be more mindful and less likely to fall into distraction. And yeah, you might miss a message or respond to a comment late. It's a small price to pay for a more balanced relationship with social media. My second tip is take control of time. Now that notifications are off, you get to decide when you use social media. And that may sound like a small thing, but honestly, it's a game changer. What I recommend is that you choose a few consistent times throughout the day where you have limited free time and you check your apps then. We really want to break the habit of checking the app at random times because that's when you're most susceptible to brain rot. One of the things that I did consciously do was try to break the habit of looking at my phone every time there was some downtime. When standing in line, just stand in line. Take in the space. What else in the world can you be aware of besides your phone screen? Over time, it becomes natural to just leave your phone in your pocket and engage in a conversation, do some people watching, or just do some deep thinking. And the more your phone stays in your pocket, the further you'll be from brain rot, in both senses of the word. And this next point is very important. Try to create no-go zones, a hard boundary, first thing in the morning and right before bed. It's so easy to just hit your alarm and then pick up your phone and start scrolling, or to scroll while you're cozying up at night. It makes sense, but there's so much research that says that phone usage before bed is not conducive to good sleep. And getting on a social media app first thing in the morning probably isn't doing anything good for your mindset or your energy. Try meditation, a gratitude practice, reading, or just having some unstructured thought time in the morning or before bed. Tip 3 is fill the void. Find other things to do in your downtime, things that boost your focus and expand your mind's ability to concentrate and do thoughtful tasks. Maybe things that give your eyes a break from the glaring light of a screen. So read a physical book or read on a paper-like device like a Remarkable. Read in-depth articles about a topic that interests you, or let your mind mull over a creative idea. If you're going to listen to something, let it be a non-fiction audiobook or a deep dive conversation into a complex topic. Do something that you like to do, something that you've been putting off, even if it's still on a phone. For instance, use an app to learn musical notation to help with your goal of learning to play the piano, or use a language learning app to prep for your next vacation. Just try to fill the time with a non-entertainment focused task. So, no Candy Crush. And to be clear, the goal isn't to try to make every free moment productive. It's just to get your mind used to slower, deeper, more thoughtful things again. You're retraining your brain to focus. It's like going to the gym. For a lot of people, that seems like a daunting, unfun task at first. But anyone who's fallen in love with working out knows that it may start off that way. But eventually you start to look forward to it, and it comes with its own dopamine hit and the feeling of actual accomplishment. Focus on what kind of person you want to be, what you want to learn, how you want to operate in the world, and fill the void left by social media with things that actively help you towards that end, as opposed to leaving your precious time up to the whim of an algorithm. Tip number 4 is analyze and adjust. Ask yourself, what do you really want social media to do for you? For example, as an actor, I've been hearing for years that you have to be on social media, your online presence matters. Okay, sure. So I'd post a headshot and then end up scrolling bullshit for the next 40 minutes. Not exactly a winning strategy. And I think that's something a lot of us do, especially creatives. We say we have to be on social media for work, but we're not treating it like work. We're not clocking in and out. We're not only following accounts that support our craft. We're following those accounts plus like 35 meme accounts. When we actually look at the work to distraction ratio, it's way one-sided. There's this gap between what we say we want from social media and how we actually use it. And that's where brain rot can sneak in. If we don't take the time to check in and say, is this actually helping me or is it hijacking my attention, then we'll always be at the mercy of an algorithm. So analyze and adjust. Do what I did when I finally got back on social media. Ask yourself, what do I want from this app? And then determine if your usage aligns with that answer. Unfollow stuff that's basically just noise. Yeah, it might be entertaining, but is it worth the wasted time and attention? Try to only like, comment on, or linger on things that actually support your goals. That's how you reset your algorithm and curate your feed. With this, even if you're using social media, it's not using you. Tip number 5 is embrace silence. Every great spiritual tradition encourages time in silence. Why is that? Because there's something profound in being quiet and being able to turn your thoughts and your awareness inward. But how often do we practice silence if it's not during prayer or a meditation or at the end of a yoga class? Everyday silence while you're just sitting, eating, being. can be very profound as well. But typically, if there's more than 2 seconds of silence, we start looking for some device to give us some stimulation. Try to practice just embracing silent moments. I need to work on this more myself. Even if I'm not getting on social media, I tend to listen to an audiobook or music in order to fill the space. But a silent ride in the car or stroll through the neighborhood can do wonders for your sense of peace, your awareness, your creativity. Silence resets and rejuvenates the mind, giving it a respite and a needed break from a hectic day punctuated by information overload. It can also help you to be more aware of what's arising within you and within the world in each given moment, which I believe greatly enhances your quality of life and your depth of understanding of who you are and what's happening within yourself and others. So yeah, what started off as an accidental break from social media turned out to be one of the best things that I've done for my mind, for my peace, and for my creativity. I didn't just get time back, I got my power back. The power to direct my attention in a way that brings me closer to what I want and who I want to be. And yes, I think that it increased my ability to focus on things like reading long articles or doing a task that requires a more prolonged mental effort. And ostensibly, it helped me to avoid any further brain rot. If this video resonated with you at all, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps. And I'd like to hear from you. What's your best strategy for keeping a healthy relationship with social media? Drop it in the comments and let me know. Thank you so much for being here. Expand, evolve, and elevate. I'll see you in the next one.